Hey Harmonizers, welcome to a Harmony Headlines report. So we have a bunch of stuff going on in this video today. We're going to take a look at a Mustang attack video that somebody else posted on YouTube. I'm going to comment on it. It's a little bit upsetting because the person who's doing this video uses techniques or a philosophy, I guess, that I do, which is that I don't take a stick into the pen and I don't chase my Mustangs around. I use positive reinforcement and I use food. The difference being that I know what I'm doing, I know about passive leadership, and I keep myself safe. So I've proven this with the last 4 Mustangs that I've tamed using that method. Their videos, Kaibu, Mariki, Arwen, and Valente are all on my YouTube channel. So I've got experience doing what I'm doing, and it's working really well. And then this person comes along and they're using just positive reinforcement and food to work with their horse, except for they don't know what they're doing. And I'm gonna point out, not to harp on them, not to make fun of them or anything like that, but purely for education, because it brings to a point of, you know, what is safe when we're working with these horses. And we don't want to give these horses a bad reputation simply because the human is making mistakes and doesn't know what they're doing. And the good news is that you can see how this escalated. It didn't, like, the horse doesn't just randomly attack. There are a lot of warning signs that this was potentially going to happen. And so I want to point those out so that way, if you are watching my videos and you're like, oh yeah, we can tame Mustangs using no chasing and no sticks or anything like that, I want you to also know that there are other things to watch for. So I'm going to share that video clip with you. And also, in terms of updating, what's going on in the world is we're still having a lot of coronavirus stuff going on. And there's talk that this might be going on well into July. Equestrian Canada published a notice saying that they've postponed all horse shows until at least June 1st. So who knows if that will get postponed even later. We will find out, I guess. But I don't know, we'll see. Georgia just announced their Mustang Training Challenge, their application for their Mustang Training Challenge for Mustang pickup of June 12th. We'll see if that actually happens. They did say that it may have to be delayed and postponed. I've actually registered for that one because if the world is going back to normal and we're doing Mustang competitions again, then I'm in and hoping to do the Texas World Finals again if possible. But I've had to make a lot of really tough decisions with my horses. So I'm going to update you a little bit on what's going on with a couple of my horses. And I've been hit really hard, not specifically just because of coronavirus, but I had a couple really nasty vet bills. I'm still kind of debating whether or not I want to sue the vet that damaged my horses' mouths. So I did a video a while back on my horses about how a vet that was doing my horse's teeth, I thought everything was fine until I had another equine dentist come in. And I had this equine dentist come in because I'd heard horror stories from other people about how they thought their horse's teeth were fine. And then they got like a more experienced dentist, equine dentist, to look at them and then realized how bad the horse's mouths were in shape. So I got a much more experienced vet to come in with a lot more experience as well as the same training. And they found that 100% of my horses had cheek tooth fractures. And the normal incidence of a horse having a cheek tooth fracture would be less than 1%. And what made it even more alarming was that the other horses that were at our farm that had never seen this particular vet before didn't have cheek tooth fractures. So it wasn't like we had some random thing going on where horses were eating rocks at our farm or something crazy like that. And so most of the time, fractures, the horse's tooth is continually growing like our fingernails, and like their hooves as well. And so they kind of grow out and they're fine. But one of my horses, Khaleesi, she actually needed 3 teeth pulled. And so that was a massive vet bill. And then by total fluke, Kaibu got himself kicked in the face and he needed a dental extraction. And so that bill was about $4,000, but because of the follow-up appointments related to that, as well as the initial appointment with the x-rays, that bill's over $5,000. So that combined with the fact that coronavirus has stopped all revenue streams coming in has made like a pretty big impact. So Kaibu, I found a home for him. He's going to be leaving after he's got one more vet appointment to follow up on his tooth to make sure everything's all fine after surgery. And then he's got a new home, and his new home, like I sold him to a lovely lady who I'm so excited about because she wants her own personal horse, and they're going to do trail riding, a little bit of ring work. They're going to do a little bit of everything. And I think it's going to be a really great fit, great home. And just kind of sucks that the price that I sold him for is just paying for his dental bill, which is really crappy. And so it put me in this tough spot of what can I do with my horses, because I always pride myself on if my horses need something, they get it. But with having already Kaibu's big bill and Khaleesi's big bill, and before that was Alicia's surgery, and then coronavirus stopping all income, and who knows when things are going to be getting going again, that I need to make some responsible decisions about my horses. And so I made some decisions to sell some of my horses, Kaibu being one of them. And then Fairley, I'm going to fill you in, as well as a couple of my other guys. I'll fill you guys in on that. So let's take a look at my pon-pons and what decisions kind of I've been making there this past week. So first up, we're taking a look at Fairley at her new home with her new owner. That's Kirsty. So they are a new little pair. She came to see her. She used to train eventing and had been out of horses for a while. And then now, later in life, is looking to get back into horses after having some years off, and wanted a horse that she could have fun with and do a bunch of different things with, a bit of jumping, a bit of dressage. And so Fairley's going to be perfect for that. She enjoyed riding her, enjoyed all her different buttons and stuff like that. So I think they're going to have a great time. And one of the things that really kind of helped me figure out who I needed to sell and what I needed to do is I thought, well, Fairley needs to have relatively consistent work to build up her top line, and just the reality of having, a baby, and I'm planning to hopefully have another baby next year. I might not always be able to consistently do that for her. So she made sense as a horse to find somebody who would be a one-person kind of horse, and she could work with her and do those kinds of things with her. So I'm very excited. I think Fairley's going to enjoy her new home. Here's a little look at her going into the paddock for the first time. And it's a really big paddock. It's just her and a couple other horses, huge shelter. And you guys can see what she's like getting introduced there. So it was definitely a tough decision for me because I had kind of planned on having Fairley for a long time. But then kind of a combination of what the vet said about the kind of consistent work that she needed, along with me just being realistic about the number of horses that I can keep and maintain. Thought, well, I've got somebody who's a perfect fit for her. Let's seize that opportunity to have this match work out, because I think she's going to have a great home. She's not too far away from me. And her new owner uses cookies and positive reinforcement, so that's super duper important to me. And Fairley's going to have a great life. So I know the field looks muddy right now, but it's mud season, and that field actually attaches to that grass paddock behind there. So we don't have a lot of grass in Canada yet, but it's coming. And you can see the big opening there into the big field. So she's spoiled. She's got all this space to roam in. I think she's going to be super well loved and looked after. She's got a brand new blankie on, and so I'm really excited for them and the fun that they're going to have together. It was a tough decision for me, but I do want to do thoroughbred makeovers again in the future as well, and so I do have to move different horses along, and Fairley Bean now has a new home. And then the other one that you may or may not have been expecting is Mr. Clyde. So this is not me riding Clyde. This is Emily, who's Clyde's new owner. So she's actually picking him up tomorrow after this video has been shot. So this is when she came to try him out. And you may notice she's riding with a mask, because we have a rule at our farm now that everybody at the farm has to have something covering their nose and their mouth. So she's doing that. And so she's testing him out and doing a great job with him. So I was really happy to see how well they clicked together. She events and she has a horse already who's going to be retiring in the next couple of years. And so she was looking for a horse that could potentially fill in once that other horse is ready to be retired. So I thought this was going to be perfect for Clyde, somebody who's knowledgeable and confident and kind and has a good seat. And she's pretty brave. Like, she was willing to kind of run at some of these jumps to try to get those canter strides happening. And that's kind of what I need, is somebody who knows what they're doing, but somebody who's kind and patient. And Emily's a lovely rider, and she's kind of knows what he's capable of and what he needs to work on, and she doesn't have a timeline for when he needs to get there. So I'm pretty excited for them. I'm sad because I loved him, but I'm excited as well. So with all of that being said about my ponies, and I'm wishing, Clyde and Fairley and Boo all the best at their new homes, and I'm pretty excited for them. I think they're going to do great. Then there was a question from YouTube from you guys, it was Franziska, I hope I'm saying that right, which was, is there anything you can put in a contract to help protect a horse and keep them safe? So I thought this would be the perfect question to answer as part of this video. And absolutely there is. And so what I do with my contracts is I include a clause where I give a specific dollar amount for what happens if they don't let me know about a first right of refusal, as well as if the horse ends up being spotted at slaughter or anything like that. So I actually say, like, it's a $10,000 fine or penalty if you don't honor a first right of refusal with me. So if I find out you don't own the horse anymore and you've sold it, then I can now take you to small claims court and sue you for that amount. If you don't put a dollar amount in there, then a first right of refusal, like if they don't follow through and they don't do that, then what do? You sue them. It's going to cost a lot in lawyer fees. You have to figure out some type of monetary amount. Like, it's really messy. It's not really doable. So if you can keep it through small claims court, that is much, much better. It's much more practical. You can actually follow through. And so it's a much more credible threat, if you will, for people to actually follow through and be responsible and honor that first right of refusal, so you can keep tabs. And then I also write into my contracts that if I'm not able to purchase the horse back, that they have to let me know the new owner's information, so that way I can follow up with them. And then I also put that piece in with a dollar amount related to if I end up having to rescue the horse or if they've starved the horse, and I put in a whole bunch of pieces around that. So I encourage people to do that because it just, I think, makes people take these things a lot more seriously. And I think it's helpful for the horse. So now we're going to take a look at the Mustang attacks video, which I'm warning you in advance. It's not super bloody or gory or anything like that, but you are going to see a Mustang go a little bit crazy. So we're going to share that, which brings us to our lick and chew moment of the day, which is that there is more that meets the eye. We have to be careful not to be judgmental of horses and so quick to criticize them and criticize their reactions, because there can be more going on. And the human really has to take responsibility for our role in the relationship and what we're causing the horse to do. So the next time your horse, or you see your horse do something that is unexpected or mean or aggressive, you want to kind of step back and kind of say, what was the human's role in this? And what was the horse, what happened that the horse made it feel them that they could do that? So there's more that meets the eye, and not to be so judgmental of horses and blaming it all on them, but being critical of our role and our responsibility too. All right, so we are taking a look at this video. This is a screencast of the video with the Mustang. And so some of the things I want to notice is the body language of what's going to happen here is the horse literally bites her and she literally does nothing. And then afterwards kind of moves at him a little bit, almost in an angry way. So there's no immediate consequence. Those aren't related to the horse. So if you're going to have a consequence for something, you have to think like an electric fence. It needs to be immediate and right after the fact. So you bite me and then there's a consequence. And then this is really not good here, where she's trying to get the horse to move. And then see how she just kind of gives up? So she asks the horse to move, and then she's like, okay, fine, I'll touch you. So if you're going to ask the horse to move their feet, you need to follow through with getting them to move their feet. And then she touches the horse, and the horse kind of flips his head up in the air and kind of says, well, screw you. And then again, there's no consequence to that. So if you go to touch the horse, you want to be able to follow through and say, well, I'm going to touch you and it's going to be okay. Not, I want to touch you, oh, you flipped me off, and then now I'm going to walk away from you. So then now the horse is menacing at her, threatening to bite at her, and she's stepping back. I don't know if you saw that before the footage transitioned, but she stepped back away from the horse and didn't do anything. And see how she kind of takes her arm around the horse's head, and he's switching sides on her, like going from left side to right side. See how the horse's eye keeps switching sides? So that's a passive dominance thing, where the horse is essentially saying that it is the passive dominant leader. And they're kind of engaging in a game of like halter tag or bitey face right now. And she's losing. See how she just stepped back there and stepped back again? So that's the horse saying, I'm boss. And then now she's trying to leave, and the horse is like, screw you, lady. I'm the boss here. And then he turns around and he thinks he's playing a game. So the message is, this is not a bad horse. This is a human that doesn't know what they're doing yet and making it unsafe. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Harmony Headlines video. I look forward to your questions for our next video. And hang in there, stay safe, and I hope everybody's doing well.